You want to be able to cook more than just a steak. Well, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious Italian-style appetizer that's even on my menu at the restaurant. 2 incredible side dishes that we can't get enough of, and a chocolatey dessert that you'll want after every meal, and that's all timed out perfectly. The whole family is going to love this because I believe that food matters. It connects people, and by teaching better techniques, I'll help you create meals worth remembering. First, we're going to fire up some potatoes. Sound good? Let's cook. One of the easiest, tastiest potatoes you can make are jacket potatoes, which is pretty much a fancy Brit way of saying baked potatoes, but we're going to make them extra tasty with a few easy techniques. I've got 4 large baking russet potatoes that weigh about 6 to 8 ounces each, and yes, totally cool to use Yukon Golds here. I'm going to give them a quick rinse under cold water and just scrub them with my hands. I'm trying to get rid of any dirt or unwanted particles, and then a quick, simple dry just using paper towels, and no, they don't have to be perfectly dried out. And then at this stage, using a fork, just pierce the potato about 4 to 5 times on each side. These are just supposed to be little jabs. They're not going to penetrate an inch deep into the potato. And this is to help the steam release as it bakes so that it doesn't explode in your oven. You'll hate me if this happens, I promise you, and it's absolutely no fun to clean up. And now to get them crispy and seasoned up to perfection, in a large bowl, add in 1/4 to 1/3 cup of olive oil, then 1½ tablespoons of coarse salt. Don't worry, you won't be using all that in there. No need to freak out yet. Then take a potato one at a time and run it through the oil and salt. You want to coat it on all sides. And hey, it's totally cool if you use both hands. The goal here is to get it sealed in that oil. This will help crisp up that skin really nice as it bakes, and the salt all around is to ensure every bite is fantastic. It's just little techniques like this that go a long way. You've got this. Repeat it till they're all done, and then just place them on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper. They're going on a rack in the lower third section of the oven at 375 degrees F for right around 60 to 65 minutes. And these are just the start. And this will hands down take the longest time to cook. But while it's in the oven, we can make that appetizer, that other side dish, and even cook the steak. So in the end, everything should be timed out perfectly so that everything is done at the same time. However, if this makes you a little bit nervous, just feel free to make each recipe one at a time. No problem. I'm not sure there is a tastier, simpler appetizer than baked goat cheese and tomato sauce. It's the perfect sweet and salty combo, and honestly, I love it so much it's even an appetizer on my menu at the restaurant. You are going to love this. Now to make this next level, homemade pomodoro sauce, which just means tomato sauce, will absolutely make this recipe sing. Like, people are going to ask you about it. It's that good. And it takes only about 45 minutes to make, and it's few ingredients. So of course, I've got the recipe video that you can absolutely check out. Now, because I love this sauce, I always make a little extra because it really does go so well with everything. I just freeze whatever's left. And if you're new to this whole style of cooking and you want to save a little time and money, it is totally cool if you go pick up your favorite tomato marinara sauce from the grocery store, no sweat. For me, I probably tend to lean a little bit more towards a Rayos or Carbone. They're just more flavorful than the others, but the Pomodoro, still where it's at. Any smaller 3 to 4 cup casserole, enameled, or cast iron dish will work for this. You're going to pour in 2 cups of the sauce, and then I have a 4-ounce log of goat cheese. This can get really messy if you just try to break it up with your hands, so what I usually do is just take a knife and slice it into chunks. It's gonna break apart, but I promise it's easier to do it this way. And then of course, you could just use crumbles. It's totally up to you. Either way, you want to add it right to the center of the tomato sauce, and that tangy, earthy, slightly sweet flavors are going to pair beautifully with our savory tomato sauce. And at this stage, I'm going on a rack in the top third of the oven at the same 375 degrees F for about 25 to 30 minutes. And just wait until you see how this comes out of the oven. Maybe a little browned up from being in the top part of the oven, bubbling, and honestly good enough to eat with a spoon. So once it is done, the cheese will be melty and easy to spread, and you have some options for what you spread it on. I usually opt for a baguette or even like a semolina type loaf, but you can absolutely pick up any fresh bread from the grocery store. It will work, I promise you. Just slice it up, give the dip a garnish with 2 teaspoons or so of minced fresh basil, and dip away, my friends. I'd legit eat this as a meal. It's that good. And now for that other side dish that seriously got me eating vegetables as a kid, and to this day, I still love it, and so does my family. Cheese is the ultimate equalizer between your kids wanting to eat veggies because they have to and because they want to. It's so good and so easy to make. In a small 2 to 3 quart sauce pot, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Just turn the heat down to low medium. The goal here is just to melt it, nothing more. Next, I'm going to stir in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. This combo is going to make a roux, which is going to be our thickening agent to get that perfect sauce consistency. And we're going to cook it while stirring for maybe just 2 to 3 minutes. It'll start to look like a really loose dough when it comes together while it's cooking. In the end, I want it to remain a white roux. So right on to the next stage, which is pouring in 2 cups of whole milk. Yes, 2 or 1% or even skim milk will work, but hey, the fattier, the more delicious. Stir everything together, and then I'm going to switch over to whisk because I want to ensure the roux is broken up and incorporated completely into the milk. Nobody likes a chunky sauce, all right? Now, once it's mixed in, we're going to continue to cook this for an additional 4 to 5 minutes over low to low medium heat-ish. And now it's cheese time, and you've got a few options. You can go with a sharp cheddar, which is a more complex, tangier flavor due to its longer aging process, or a mild cheddar, which is much softer and a bit creamier. Or, if you want to really make me happy, why not a big old block of American cheese? I know it's wild, but I love this stuff, and so does every chef I know. It's bizarre. For me, I'll go with shredding up an 8-ounce block of sharp cheddar. I'm down for more flavor in the sauce, always am. All right, stay with me. We're almost done with the sauce, but first let's go have a look, and as you can see, it's definitely thickened up, but it's just right. It should easily coat the back of a spoon, which is also known as nappe. Even if it's a little on the thin side, don't sweat it because we still have to add the cheese. So remove the pan from the heat and add about half of the shredded cheese and vigorously whisk it until it's incorporated and smooth. Then finally, the last half. I remove it from the heat while doing this because it will seamlessly mix in without it breaking or any graininess to it. Plus, the lower heat will help keep that cheddar flavor. Now, to just enhance the cheese a bit more, I'm going to whisk in a half teaspoon of dry mustard. I absolutely have no clue why it does it, but it does, and it's awesome. Then, season it well with coarse salt and ground white pepper. Want to keep that sauce color and consistency just right. So in the end, of course, yeah, you have to try it. And oh my gosh, just as I thought, I want to drink it. But hey, do not do that. Place it back on the stove or to the side with the lid on to keep it warm and sit tight because we're saving this silky smooth sauce for some broccoli and later dessert in the very same skillet you cook your steak in. I've got 2 fresh heads of broccoli that I just want to trim the top parts off of, which are called florets. So using your chef's knife, slice where there appears to be about 1 inch total of the stem or stalk. This will release that little floret and you'll get all the benefits of flavor and fiber in one bite. That's your only Dr. Chef Parisi recommendation because I'm not a nutritionist. Now, once they're all removed, I usually like to slice them down a bit more into bite-sized pieces so it feels like I'm not shoving a huge plant in my mouth. And for the leftover stalks, these are great for broccoli cheddar soup, but more on that at a later date. For now, just pop them in the freezer. You'll thank me later. At this stage, take the broccoli over to the cooktop, and I'm going to season a large pot of boiling water with coarse salt so that it is as salty as the ocean. This is what will be seasoning up our broccoli and help keep it bright green. Super important. Add in the broccoli, and it'll cook for just maybe 2.5 to 3 minutes. That's it, nothing more. The stem should be a bit firm while the top should be more tender. If you don't know what that is, just take a little piece out and try it. Tasting all your food throughout the process is how you become a better cook. It's just really that simple, and I promise you can do this. Okay, let's drain the broccoli off, then go have a look at our sauce, and yep, it's still hot. Perfect. Add the broccoli to a bowl, and why not pour on some of that cheese sauce in slow-mo? It just makes everything look so dang good. Now, you will have some leftover sauce, which seriously goes great on every vegetable and even on a Philly steak sandwich or as a nacho cheese sauce. Store it in the fridge for up to 7 days. And there is no better way to get your kid to eat veggies than with a delicious cheese sauce. That I can promise you. Just a few minutes left on those potatoes, and now for the steak. Well, you've already perfected these techniques and are a total pro at it, but it's not why you're here. It's for the rest of the meal that's going to blow your family away because to this point, it's been all about the beef. So once that steak is done, rest it over on a rack, and hey, don't rinse out that skillet just yet, you'll thank me later. Now, while we're waiting on the ribeye, the potatoes should just be finishing up, and dang, do they look good. Crispy skin, pillowy inside, and just so beautifully seasoned. Using a small knife, just score a T in the middle, then push and squeeze to break all that fluffy goodness up. Then what I do is I load it up with butter and sour cream, but you can do whatever you'd like. In fact, I'll even go a step further with some shredded cheese and sliced chives. And okay, fine, one more step. If you have some crispy cooked bacon, chop it up and add it in there as well. I could eat a loaded baked potato seriously every single day, and I'm pretty confident that simple oil salt technique will make them your favorite too. Okay, let's bring out everything we've got. That ridiculously delicious baked goat cheese dip appetizer with baguette slices, the cheesy cheddar broccoli that'll finally get your kids to eat veggies, then last but not least, those loaded baked potatoes, or as we call them in the industry, BPEs. So what's the word? Is it go time? Can we slice up the steak and roll, or is there more?
And it's almost time to eat. But if you ask me, a meal just isn't complete unless you finish it off with dessert. And this one may be one of the easiest of all time.
My Fudgy brownie recipe is going to send you out as a hero, seriously. And to keep the dishwashing down, your spouse or maybe your kids will thank you, I'm going to do it in the steak skillet. Get rid of all the herbs and garlic, then give it a rinse with hot water and just dry it off using a towel. Now in a large microwave safe bowl, I've got 1.5 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips, which I'm going to add to the microwave and cook or do whatever it does in there for 60 seconds. Take it out, give it a little stir, and it's going back to the microwave in 30-second bursts. Stir and repeat until it's completely melted. I only needed 2 minutes total for this. Now in that same bowl, add 1.5 sticks of unsalted melted butter and 1 cup of sugar. And I'm swapping out for a whisk at this point just to make sure everything is smooth and incorporated. Then next, I'm pouring in 2 teaspoons of vanilla and then 3 large eggs, room temper chilled, totally fine. You should notice that the mixture will seize up a bit and thicken up. You're totally good, I promise. Add in a 1/4 cup of unsweet cocoa powder, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and a 1/2 teaspoon of coarse salt. Whisk it all until it's combined, and this next part, totally optional, but I love it for the flavor and texture, so I'm doing it. Add in a 1/2 cup of roughly chopped walnuts. Once all is in there and combined, let's get it into the skillet, but first spray with a little non-stick spray. This will help remove everything with ease, and then scrape every last little bit out of that bowl and into the pan. And then for a little more melty, chocolatey finish, another 1/4 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips is going on top. It can't hurt. It can only make it more delicious. Then we're going to bake it at 350 degrees F on a middle rack for 30 minutes. I like mine a bit fudgier in the middle, but if you don't, no problem. Just add an additional 5 minutes. But when it's done, what would a chocolatey fudgy brownie be without some vanilla ice cream and maybe a few extra chocolate chips and nuts? And now, seriously, this is a feast. There's so much more out there than just steak. I promise you, a whole world full.
Now keep using that cast iron skillet with my perfect roasted chicken video and the gravy that goes with it. Just insane. I'll see you over on that video. Cold steak. Feel good.